there's a lot of boldness in Turkish foreign policy, which comes from their feeling that somehow they are in some ways geopolitically so well placed that their role in the region is so important that they can take very strong positions, and they've been getting away with it.
But what has been the traditional position of Turkey on Kashmir and in OIC?
See, what is disappointing to me is that when I was first appointed ambassador to Turkey, the understanding developed at that time was that Turkey will stay away from the Kashmir issue and India will stay away from the Cyprus issue. And that between Mrs. Gandhi and President Ozal at that time, this was to be the basis of a new understanding between India and Turkey to build a stronger relationship. But Turkey went ahead after some years to become the chairman of the OIC contact group on Kashmir. It has issued very violent, violently critical of India's policies in Kashmir. When I told the Turkish foreign minister who came here a few months ago that one can understand that in the OIC resolutions where there are 50-some Muslim countries and they pass a resolution, you can take the argument, give the argument it's a multilateral body and it's a resolution in so many countries participating and we can't stand out. But when you are in the OIC contact group with only 5 countries and you are chairing it, what is your compulsion to become the chairman and issue these statements?
What did he say?
He said, well, we know that your views are different, but on this we have to live with our differences. So the answer to that is that supposing we were to lead a kind of a group on the Kurdish cause and then tell the Turks, well, you know, these are differences that we should learn to live with, they will certainly not accept it.
He is not accepted in the same interview that you quoted that the Kurdish, raising the Kurdish issue is similar to raising Kashmir issue. As far as the Kurds are concerned, we are dealing with a terrorist organization. But India could equally say that we are dealing with terrorist organizations in Jammu and Kashmir besides the militants.
Exactly.
Because those terrorists come from Pakistan.
Exactly. But he didn't see that, he didn't see the weakness in his own argument.
What was the point of saying in that interview that Nawaz Sharif is a good man, he's well intentioned, that he's a dear friend? No.
Because he is a dear friend. Because, you know, just before the coup, when the daughter of Erdogan was getting married, he made witness at the wedding of Nawaz Sharif. So they're very close to each other. Therefore, he bought Nawaz Sharif's arguments about resolving the Kashmir issue, that he's well intentioned. And Turkey wants to play a role because it feels that on Afghanistan is playing a role. It was the creator of this idea of the Heart of Asia conference. So they want to be able to play a role in resolving the Kashmir issue. These are, to my mind, a very tactless interview. Though I must say that in the op-ed that he wrote under his name, I think in one of our major newspapers, there he didn't say anything wrong. It was all proper.
But why do you say it is tactless? Do you not see it linked to the fact that his visit to India took place back to back with the visit of Cyprus president? And in that visit, the Indian joint statement actually talks about resolving the Cyprus issue, just as he talks of resolving the Kashmir issue, and recalls how India supported Cyprus against Turkish invasion in 1974, which resulted in the division of Cyprus.
The fact that Turkey invaded northern Cyprus and occupies it, and has got military station there and has moved a lot of people from the mainland, actually should make the Turkish president and the Turkish public in general much more cautious when they pronounce on the Kashmir issue. And so with regard to Cyprus, I think this is the result, and to my mind it is just as well that we said all this, because when Erdogan visited Pakistan a few months ago, he made very objectionable statements on Jammu and Kashmir. He actually said that our heart bleeds for our Muslim brethren in Jammu and Kashmir. And I did say to a few people, why is he saying that? That his heart is bleeding for the Muslim brethren. First of all, how are they his brethren? And why is he communalizing the whole thing? And one could easily have said that the international community, the heart of the international community is bleeding for all the sufferings that the Kurdish people suffered under Erdogan.
Isn't it a bit messy on our own part to have the president of Cyprus and president of Turkey visiting
It was to send them a message that if you expect us to live with differences over Kashmir, then by the same token, you should learn to live with us on the differences over Cyprus.
So we are also being pugnacious in our foreign policy.
First of all, there's a difference. The Cyprus issue is still before the United Nations. The United Nations is deeply involved in this, though they have not found a solution. And dialogue has been going on without result. It's not the case with Jammu and Kashmir, where after the 72 Sibal agreement and subsequent declarations, we are committed to resolve things on a bilateral basis, so there is no third party role. In the case of Cyprus, even Turkey accepts the mediation by the United Nations, which appointed actually a representative to solve the Cyprus issue. So the two situations are quite different. So if we in our joint statement talk about resolution of the Cyprus issue, is totally in accordance with the present position of the United Nations accepted by Turkey.
And how do you explain the fact that Indian Vice President Hamid Ansari was visiting Armenia to attend the 102nd anniversary of the Armenian genocide committed by the Turks, again on the eve of Erdogan's visit? Was that also deliberate?
Well, clearly it was not done by oversight or by absence of any thinking. Clearly the idea was that we are also raising our diplomatic profile in that larger region. And the fact that there are differences between Armenia and Turkey is no reason for us not to come closer to Armenia. And the point is that right since the 80s or 90s, as I mentioned to you, Turkey is the chairman of the OIC contact group on Kashmir. So we have tolerated for 20 odd years constant provocations by Turkey and other members. And each time we have made very strong statements rejecting their role and their positions, which we have always characterized as utterly biased and stuff like that. So if after 20 years we have done something in Armenia, you can't equate the two things and saying that we are being provocative in any way.
No, I'm merely saying that were these two visits, the visit of the Cyprus President and Indian Vice President's visit to Armenia to participate in the 102nd anniversary of Armenian genocide, coincidental, or were they meant to set a signal?
I would put it this way, that such visits are planned a long time in advance. They are never done on the spur of the moment. So it's not as if you decided the last minute and you strategized and said, look, since Erdogan is coming, we must do something else to send him certain messages. The decision are taken well in advance. And at that time when the decision was taken, yes, somebody could have said that, have you factored in our relationships with Turkey and this and that? And somebody else would have said that if Turkey is totally insensitive to our thinking and views and sensitivities on Jammu and Kashmir, we should have an independent relationship with Armenia and be not particularly bothered about Turkish views.
Okay. And what is Turkey's position on two other issues of primary concern to India? One is India's membership of the Nuclear Suppliers Group, and the other is India's pursuit of permanent membership of the UN Security Council. They've not been very supportive, have they?
Well, on the NSG, they have taken a very clever line, that they support the entry of both India and Pakistan, which actually means an anti-Indian position, because Pakistan is not eligible at all, and why should they tag Pakistan membership with that of India? Because India got an exemption from the NSG. If Pakistan were to get an exemption from the NSG, which will be a separate process, then theoretically you could consider the two applications together, because the fundamental decision of overlooking Pakistan's non-proliferation activities would have been settled through that exemption. But since that has not happened, there is no reason why these two applications should be joined together. So Turkey is trying to be rather clever, too clever by half, saying we're not opposing you, but then Pakistan also should come in, which is precisely what the Chinese are saying, but in a different way and a much more aggressive way. But insofar as the UNSC is concerned, two things. One, of course, is that we should welcome what Erdogan has said, although it's not in the joint statement, but he said it at Jam Amelia, that how can a country of 1.3 billion people be excluded from permanent membership? But he also went on to say that how can a whole host of Islamic countries, etc., should be excluded either. So it is a more rhetorical thing, but yes, there is value nevertheless in this, because Pakistan is totally opposed to India's membership. So if Turkey is theoretically is open to the idea, it is a small gain.
So overall, would you say it was a botched up visit, or was it a positive visit?
After having said all the negative things which needed to be said, the point is that Turkey is a very important country, geopolitically very sensitively placed. It's having great difficulties with the European Union and the United States. Its prospects for joining the EU, which were never really serious, have receded even further. Now they have a very conscious policy of broadening their relationship with the non-Western countries, in Asia in particular and Africa too. And in Asia they have singled out China and India as two partners from which Turkey could gain a lot from the relationship, and the focus is on the economy. Because if the European relationship is getting more complicated and the prospects of further improvement of the EU-Turkish relationship on the economic side are not good, then Turkey has to look elsewhere in order to continue to boost its economy and economic growth. And India, I think India is now figuring on the horizon as a very important country with India's economic profile and the market and everything else. Our infrastructure needs, they're very strong on the construction side, etc., etc. So they do see some community of interest. And from our point of view, this is a good thing, despite the irritation that I mentioned. It's a good thing that we can engage Turkey and separate the other things. If Turkey gets more involved in the Indian economy, that might, to some extent, help to dilute some of the positions they take on Kashmir and elsewhere. So it's not a bad thing. In other words, engaging an important country like Turkey, despite differences, is not a bad thing.